You expand your vision. It's like taking one step forward in a fog and the fog lifting, and you can see 5 more steps ahead. And then you take one more step, you can see 50 more steps ahead. Your vision will continue to expand as you flex that muscle. And my vision is expanded on what I could even think of 5 years ago. And I expect it to do the same thing again over the course of the next 5 years, and the next 5 years, and the next 5 years. So I'm going to action is so bad and introduce a great friend and an incredible value to all of you, Mr. Ed Milet. And after Ed is done, he's going to give you some unbelievable value. This is a real big thinker that you're about to hear. And as Ed shares with you, what I want you to do is just give yourself permission to go where he is suggesting that you can go. And then when they're done, Sandy and Ed will, Ed and Sandy will close up. But I'll just tell you this, and I would banter back and forth with Ed right now, but frankly, it's going to be too annoying with the internet connection that I have. Ed, I will just pass the floor to you. And these people are near and dear to my heart. Give them as much value as I know you always do, and help them to expand their vision, my friend. So I'll give the floor to you. Go get them.
All right, brother. Great to see you. Enjoy your vacation. I'll do the heavy lifting from here. So great to be with all of you. Eric, it's an honor. I have to tell you all one thing. I have a small friend circle. And that surprised me. As I kind of grew in my life, I thought, wow, my friend circle will expand, And to some extent, that's accurate. But the people that you allow to get close to you, that you really trust, sort of shrinks as you kind of expand and grow. And people say it's lonely at the top. It's not lonely at the top. There's a lot of people there. But Eric is one of those people I've not known a very long time. Just, maybe it's been a year now that we've really known one another. Feel very close to him. He's a remarkable man. I have a really good sense of, people's intentions in their heart. And Eric intends to serve. He's a really, truly wonderful person. And all the success that he's had is not by mistake. It's because he's extremely talented. He understands this industry better than anybody on the planet. He is the best. He is the GOAT at what we're talking about today. But he's a good person. He's just good. He does good for other people. His heart is kind and generous and giving. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in just watching how Eric conducts himself, privately and publicly. So I just want you all to know that. I know Eric's probably not on anymore, but it's important for me to tell you all that. Anything I can do with Eric, I'm going to do going forward. I'll say that almost ever, guys. I'm telling you. And so you're very fortunate to be in his company on such a regular basis and be connected here through GoPro. So great to be with all of you. I really have a lot to share with you today. I'm super excited. I've got notes, and I only got about an hour, maybe a little bit less. And so I'm going to just pour into everything that I've got for you to take the time today. Speaks of who you are. And I want to give you some of my best stuff, and probably stuff maybe you've not heard me cover before. So really quickly, just, most of you know me because you see me speak at GoPro or, on my social media. If you're not following me on Instagram, or I guess I should be growing my TikTok. Give me a follow on TikTok. I might start posting there more often. But I have the #1 business and personal development podcast in the world. You can get anywhere: Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. So if you're not going there, go there. But the reason I mention this to you up front is I want to get it out of the way. But the more important thing is that my background is in recruiting people. My background is in a building business. So everything you see me do, these other businesses you see me involved with, or the speaking that you see me do, I'm involved in about 31 different businesses right now, everywhere from tech to food to I've got a fitness business. I've got all kinds of different businesses that I have, all different industries. I've got a TV show coming out with NBC, and all of that started and continues to evolve through the building and recruiting business. And so I built a very, very big team in my 20s, 30s, and 40s that still exists now in my 50s. I'm not as involved as I once was, but I must tell you that my whole career started what we're doing right now. It is the best industry in the world, the best career in the world by far. And finally, the world's caught up and understands that. So now that we know that, I'm not talking to you out of theory. I'm talking to you I've recruited thousands and thousands of people personally myself. I've given presentation meetings probably to 1 million people in my life. I've sat in tons of recruiting interviews, field trainings, you name it. So I know what you go through every single day. Believe me, I know. I know probably better than anybody in personal development because my background is your background. And so when I talk today, you'll get that sense almost immediately when I get a little bit granular about recruiting and building, and also building your vision in your mind as well. I think you'll see that, I come from our world together. So let's start out. Number one, how good has this been for me? Just so you know, just to give you a little bit of the dream. I'm talking to you right now. It's 114 degrees. It was 115. But I'm here at my home at what they call the Madison Club in La Quinta, California. Just give you a vision. I grew up lower middle class, alcoholic father, as most of you know. No dreams or vision in my family. We didn't even take vacations when I was a kid. It was funny. Not until I was 23 years old did I take my first vacation, which was in the business that I was building. I recruited enough people and did enough production to go on my first trip to Hawaii. I'd never been on a vacation. It was just not part of our family's culture. We just never literally went on one. Not one night overnight somewhere, ever in my childhood. And so dreaming, vision, entrepreneurship, none of that was a part of my family. I come from a good family. Obviously, there was dysfunction with the alcoholism, but loving family, good family, but just it wasn't wired that way. So when I got into this industry, I'm like, wow, these people are way more excited than me. I don't know. I'm standing up and clapping all the time. I remember going to events, and I'm like, man, they stand up even for the crappy speakers. How do you know which one's good? We stand up for everybody. I thought, shouldn't we sort of have like some sort of formality of how much we stand up and clap compared to how good they were? And I remember thinking, man, these people are so fired up. I'm not that fired up, And it wasn't until I kind of became part of the culture and the environment that the culture changed me. Personal development changed me. All the books, all the tapes at that time, the recordings, the growing as Eric said, expanding my vision, stepping into the fog started to happen for me. I changed. And I believe human beings can change, number one, because I watched my dad do it. My dad lived terribly my first 15 years as an alcoholic. Then I watched him live magnificently the next 35 years of my life before he passed away. So I know for sure human beings can change because I watched my hero do it, for sure. But I also watched me do it. I wasn't like this before. I wasn't this dream or vision person. But then I got addicted to it, right? And when I started to get addicted to it, my life started changing. You flash forward now 30 years later, this club that I belong to, or just name drop for you. Just think about this. I come from the network marketing space. Okay, so this is where I come from. But the person that lives right there comes from keeping up with the Kardashians. And so does the one next to them, and the one next to them, and the one next to them, because they're all Kardashians. That one's Kris Jenner. That one's Tim Cook. He runs a company called Apple. That one right there is Phil Knight. He runs a little company called Nike. The one behind me is Justin Bieber. Tom Brady lives over there. Same neighborhood. James Corbin lives here. Ellen DeGeneres lives right here. And by the way, you know what's really cool at night here once in a while? Karaoke night? I got Adele across the fairway. Come on. Pretty cool, right? John Elway. You name it. The top people in the world, 150 of us live here. Pretty crazy place. And me. I can't sing like Adele. I can't throw a football like Tom Brady, who lives right there. Yeah, Tom Brady. I won whatever he's won, 8 Super Bowls. I haven't had a talk show as successful as Ellen DeGeneres is. I haven't run a company as big as Phil Knight or Tim Cook. But I know how to recruit and build people. And I'm here too. And guess what? I got the best house in here. Ask anybody. Who's got the best house in there? They're like that recruiter, motivational guy. He's got the best place. And I do. And by the way, I own it free and clear. I flew here today on my jet, my 5th jet. I've had 5 of them. Where I flew from was my house. It was just a little quick 15-minute flight from my oceanfront home in Laguna Beach. I have 3 of those in Laguna Beach currently, plus this house. Oh, I also own an island off the coast of Portland, Maine, which is the most spectacular property in the world. It's the number 1 property, I think, in the world, and I own it. And then I paid off family members' houses, etc. You know what's cool about all that stuff I just shared with you? I own them all free and clear. No mortgages, no debt. Now you starting to get it? So I've made hundreds of millions of dollars with what I'm going to teach you today. I say that to you to expand your vision a little bit, that if I come from a family who never took a freaking vacation to this, like that, by the way, maybe you can too. So let's get into vision. You ready? That feels weird saying all that to you, but then it kind of feels good too. Feels like I'm bragging. Same time, you got to know, right? And it's just the beginning. Here I am on a Saturday at 2 o'clock my time working with you because I love it. I don't have to be doing this. I love it. Doesn't have to be doing this. He loves it. And I want you where I am. So how do we get here? Number 1, you're closer than you think. I want you to write this down. And my new book is The Power of One More. Most of you know this. Number 1 book in the world for a month by like triple. You ought to get it. If you don't have it, you ought to get extras for your team. Every person you ever recruit should read this book, and everybody on your team should be reading that book. Just go anywhere books are sold and get it. Let me give you some of the premises of the book. The Bible tells us where there is no vision, the people will perish. You've all heard that scripture probably before. But I believe if you dig into that scripture, it's not saying people have no vision. It's blurry. Here's what I think. It lacks depth perception. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I think you do have a vision for your life to some extent. If I asked you, do you want to be happy or sad? What would you say? Happy. If I said, do you want to be rich or poor? You'd probably say rich. Do you want loving relationships in your life or no good connections with anybody? I want loving. Do you want to travel and see the world or not at all? I want to travel. Do you want to make a difference or never make a difference with your life? Do you want to inspire people or never inspire people? Do you want to have beautiful memories or no memories? You have a vision. Your issue is depth perception. You think it's further away than it is, just like I used to. And because you think it's so far away, you perpetually keep it that far away from you. You act in accordance with that belief system. So it's not important. It's not only important just to have a big vision. It's also to believe that you're one decision away from getting there, one recruit away from an explosion, one meeting, one conversation, one thought, one emotion away from completely changing your life. And if you don't believe that you're one more away, you'll never see them when they're around you. But if you start expecting, where's that recruit? I'm one recruit away from changing my life. I'm one thought, one meeting, one system, one new vision, one emotion, one speaker, Ed Milet, away from totally changing my life. You start stacking up those one mores, all of a sudden your life is different. See, the difference between winning and losing, I used to have this speaker I loved. He'd say, the difference between winning and losing, it's so small. He'd lean in, it's so small. It's too scary to talk about. And I'm like, no, man, talk about it. What is it? I want to know what this is. What is this? Give it to me and I'll do it. But no one would ever tell me. And I figured out what it is. It's one more. That's what it is. It's one more. It's instead of making, you make your 10 contacts a day, you make your 10 contacts, you do one more. Instead of doing 3 meetings in a day, you do 3 plus one more. Instead of telling your wife you love her, you tell her that plus one more, or your husband, or your kids, right? Instead of listening to one tape that's going to change your life, one audio, one podcast, you listen to one more. Instead of getting all the books, you get one more. The separator's one more. When you start stacking up those one mores, your life changes. Now there's big one mores and little one mores. Any of you that are married, that decision changed your life. That birth of your child, that one event changed your life. You got to begin to buy in that in business, you're one recruit away from changing your life. That's what's so powerful about our business. But if you don't believe that, you'll miss them. You got to be looking for those one mores. They're all around you. But we miss them because we think our dream is so far away. Well, I'll find it 20 years from now. Eric's on that yacht somewhere. That's 25 years from now. But the process of getting there is one more away. The truth is, most of what I described I have has come from about 6 recruits. 6 in 30 years. 6 personal recruits. Totally changed my life. I was one more away. I played golf here a few months ago with a guy. He goes, hey, man, everyone's asked me for months. I'll just tell you who it was. Well, I won't. Really famous dude here is a tennis player. Said, hey, man, this guy's wanted to play golf with you forever. He's a very wealthy guy, about your net worth. Wants to golf with you. And I kind of blew it off forever. Then finally, I go, okay, I had a cancellation. I go, I'll play. So I go to the first tee. A guy goes, hey, Ed Milet, oh, my gosh. I'm a huge fan. I'm going to get 5 hours to pick your brain, hear your story. I can't believe it. I go, brother, no, you're not. That ain't how I roll, man. I already know everything I know. I don't know what you know. I know my story. I don't know yours. I want to know your story. This isn't about me. It's about you. By the way, I developed that back in my recruiting days. Most people would like to talk more about them than you. But most of you, when you recruit, just talk and talk and talk about your company, your product, what you can do, what you make, why you're there. Start to ask them what their dreams are. Start to ask them what their goals and dreams are, their vision, and then show them how you can help them get it. That's what a great recruiter does. See, there's 2 types of people in life. One person walks in a room and says, here I am. The other one walks in the room and says, there you are. If you're going to become a great builder and recruiter, you got to become a there you are person. So anyway, I said, so we're not going to talk about my story. I want to know yours. He goes, well, it'll take like 3 minutes here on the first tee. I said, give it to me. He goes, 1986, I loaned a guy $50,000, and so did my best friend. week later, my friend got cold feet and asked for the money back. The guy gave him the money back. I said, nah, I'll roll with it. Just give me some equity. He says, okay. He says that $50,000 turned into $750 million for him. I said, holy what? I said, who'd you loan that money to, man? He says, Jeff Bezos. I said, oh, holy crap. That one decision changed your life. That one relationship changed your life. He goes, oh yeah, big time. Now that's an extreme version of one. But I can tell you one great recruit in business can be your Jeff Bezos. You got to be looking for him and you got to be expecting it. So how do we do that? Well, let's talk about a few things. Number one, everything in your life is happening for you, not to you. I don't know if I was the first person to say that. I think I was, but everybody says it now. Doesn't matter who said it first, it's true. Let me explain this to you. I've made all my money that I've made in my life and changed all the lives I've changed with really two skills. I have two main skills. Let me tell you what they are. I'm good at being present with people and reading them, and I'm a good communicator and changing people's states. All of that came from pain. Every single thing I'm good at came from pain. Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich that if you can survive the temporary, on the other side of temporary pain, you will be introduced to your other self. My life is about surviving temporary pain and then being introduced to a better version and being on the other side of it. This is what you need to accept in your life. That when you're going through temporary pain, building this business, a relationship breaks up, a divorce, some kind of hurt, recruits turning you down, people quitting your business, that temporary pain is somehow, if you can survive it, on the other side of it, you will meet another version of you, your other self. I've met hundreds of other selves over my lifetime because I've developed a different relationship with pain. If you're going to be great at anything, your relationship with pain changes. Most people avoid pain because our brains are wired to do it so we could survive from dinosaurs back in the days. But the bottom line is that the people that succeed in life are more comfortable with pain. They'll pursue it even. They'll chase it because they know on the other side of it, if they can survive it, they get another version of them. And that's how they grow and change. I had Phil Heath on my podcast, 7-time Mr. Olympia. I said, Phil, how'd you win 7 of the biggest bodybuilding contests of all time? You're a legend. And he gave me a bunch of reasons. I said, Phil, that's not why. You have a different relationship with pain, my friend. You pursue pain in the gym. When your legs are burning, you do 5 more. You do 1 more. When other people stop, you pursue pain. My form of pain was an alcoholic father. And when I was 5 years old, I've shared this before, but I just want to share it quickly as I make my other points. When I was 5 years old, I had 3 little sisters and a mom. And I had to figure out at 5 which dad was coming through that front door. Was it my sober dad? Because dad was sober. We're going to have a great dinner and go play basketball in the backyard and have a loving evening. But that's not always who showed up. And I'd have to get there when he was 5 and read him. Because if it was my drunk dad, I had to get my sisters upstairs right away into their rooms. Tell my mom to go up and take a shower so I could deal with it. Yep. No 5-year-old boy should have to go through that, but I did. And I'd learned to read him when he'd come through the front door. I could read his physiology, his face, his tonality, what color his skin was his tie tied still? What did his hair look like? How was he walking? What did he smell like? It even got to the point where I could read how the key sounded in the lock at 5. If the key went in real smooth, maybe he's sober. Struggle with it. I knew at 5 that noise meant, Mama, get upstairs. That was a really painful thing. And then if he was drunk, when he'd come through the door, I had to start talking to him to change how he felt. Hey, Daddy, I got a 93 on my spelling test. I hit 2 home runs at baseball practice today. And he would, what? Really? I said, how was your day? Well, I did have one good man. I said, that's great. And I tried to get him away from the liquor cabinet, get him over to the basketball court in the backyard. Those still 2 skills I have of reading people and being present with them and communicating were born out of that pain, that adversity, that temporary pain. I met another me, a me who was present with people, a me who could read people, a me who was a great communicator. I wasn't born with that. I didn't practice it. I forged it through pain. So whatever you're going through and whenever you're going through it, embrace it. Know that if you can get through this temporary, and all pain is temporary. All pain is temporary. Our bodies, the only thing permanent is our soul. Our bodies are even temporary. I watched my father pass away. That body was temporary. All pain is temporary. You can remind yourself of that. Major different things are going to happen in your life. So that's how I developed my 2 skills. So if you're going through pain, and you will go through pain, just know that. Number one, you're one recruit away from explosion. Number two, survive temporary pain. You're one decision, one relationship away from completely changing your life. Then there's this other thing you got to get good at. Let me give you some technical things about being a recruiter. Number one, you got to have a recruiter's mindset. What does a recruiter think? What does a great recruiter think? Let me tell you what a great recruiter's mindset is. Ready? Write it down. Everyone wants in my company. They just don't know it yet. Everybody wants in. They just don't know it yet. You know how like recruits will smirk at you? You know that smirk? You know the smirk. All of a sudden, when you know they want what I got, they just don't know it yet. You're smirking back at them, and they feel it. Everyone wants in, they just don't know it yet. And by the way, not everyone you recruit is going to make millions of dollars. You got to begin to build a belief system that says, no, everyone wants in. They want more positivity. They want more mindset. They want personal development. They want great relationships. They want to be in a great team. They want people to love them. And they want to make money. And they want to contribute. And they want to win. And they don't have to get all of it for being on your business to be a win. You keep thinking, well, most of my people aren't making money, that's not the only requisite. Some of them are going to make money, not all of them. But how many of them improve their life? How many of them are growing? How many of them improved? How many of them become better friends? How many have read more books? How many have felt some love? How many have made some contribution? How many have learned something? Everyone wants that. They just don't know it yet. Now you're smirking. Why is that important? Because in every communication, the more certain person influences the less certain person. We say it again. The more certain person influences the less certain person. So if you're more certain that they want what you got than they are that they don't, you're smirking, they're not. You influence, they don't, because energy influences. Highest energy wins. Most certain energy wins. And guess what? Most of you struggle with recruiting because you're not certain. Because you've built this belief system that most people aren't going to win. Most people aren't going to be successful. Because you predicated all on only the money. I started to believe everybody wants in. They just don't know it yet. And guess what? I was right. Every one of them wanted in. They just didn't know it yet. And I started to work on my certainty and my energy, my tonality, hearing their story, not just mine, knowing I'm one recruit away, knowing this temporary pain means something, having a recruiter's mindset. Hey, man, now we're building a business, aren't we? Now we're starting to check some boxes. Now we're learning some stuff. A couple other things, technically. You need to begin to learn to separate the invitation from the presentation. Too many of you conflate them. So what you're doing is when you're calling or texting somebody, you're presenting as you're inviting. Don't ever do that. All you're doing when you're inviting somebody is to get them to agree to look. Then you present. But when you try to do it simultaneously, hey, do you have your ear to the ground for an opportunity? Would you be open to making more money? Would you want? All of a sudden, they're like, no, I don't. I don't have enough information to answer yes to this. What you want to do is just simply invite, man, I want you to take a look at this. Hey, I believe real strongly in what I'm up to. Just take a quick look. Right? You invite, then you present. Too many of you are asking people to marry you on the first date, and you're oblivious to it. But you blow people out. You're too overwhelming, right? It's too much. It comes across cheesy. It comes across needy. You don't need anybody. When people begin to sense you need them, it's the first time in their life anybody's needed them. They're going to run you all over the place. You have to have this idea, this mindset that I don't need you, right? Once humans sense you need them, they're going to run you everywhere. Okay? They got to believe they need you, not the other way around. And what happens when you invite and present simultaneously, you're blowing it because you're not giving them enough information. Imagine if I were, now probably a bad example because I've been married 100 years. Let's just say a single man walks up to a single woman and he wants to invite her on a date or get her phone number, right? Hey, I don't know if you're single or not. I think you're attractive. I would love to maybe make contact with you someday. If she finds him attractive, perhaps she would say, sure, right? That is the invitation. He gets her phone number. Maybe he waits a couple days. And then he says, hey, I met you at Starbucks the other day. I was wondering if maybe you want to meet for a cup of coffee. That would be the appropriate flow into a date. And at the date, you present yourself, don't you? Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's what I stand for. Here's what I believe in. These are my dreams. Imagine if instead of that, he walked up to her at Starbucks and said, hi, I hope I'm not bothering you. I found you attractive. I don't know if you're single or not. Yes, I'm single. Okay, great. Would you mind if I got your, actually, would you love to get married? She'd be like, what? No, I don't know you. I have no idea whether I want to marry you or not. I have no information about you. You starting to get it? It would be hilariously ridiculous, wouldn't it? Yet a lot of you recruit that way. Hey, are you looking to maybe make some more money? Are you happy in your career? No. Invite them to look, then present. You're asking them to marry you while you're getting their phone number. Even if they're a friend of yours, you don't start pitching on the phone. You wait for the presentation. Separate invitation from presentation. I told you were going to get stuff. Okay? So it's that ridiculous when you do it. It's that off-putting, and you're reducing the chance. See, that guy probably had a 90% chance of getting a date, didn't he? But he reduced it to a less than 1% chance of getting a date when he asked her to get married on the first contact. Starting to get it? Okay. Same thing's happening to you in business and your teammates. Be clear. Separate invitation from presentation. Okay. Everybody wants in. They just don't know it yet. Let me give you a couple other things on this too. You got to learn to sell the dream. You got to learn to sell the dream. Sell a big old dream. You got to sell a big enough dream that the dreams of everybody who comes around you can fit inside the dream you're selling. And you got to get good at it. It's got to be 2 minutes. Here's my dream. Here's my vision. Here's what we're going to achieve. Here's where I'm going. Here's why I'm doing this. It's amazing. It's got to be big enough that whatever I got as a dream could fit inside the one you're selling me. And it can be simple. It can be to the point. Let me tell you what and by the way, dreams change, as Eric said. My first dream, I used to work at an orphanage. I had worked at an orphanage when I started in the recruiting and building business. And when I would go recruit, I'd say, this is our company. I'm so proud of it. I'm going to change. The reason I want to change my life is I want to build orphanages all around the world where we teach entrepreneurship to these kids that are disadvantaged. I want to have loving people around them. I want to make sure every child in the United States has a place to go that's loving, even if it's not their own home, even a safe place, even if it's not where their parents are. I've got a heart for kids. I'm 23 years old. I'm building this business. I want to change my life. I want to travel the world. We help people like you can't believe. But my big dream is to do this with kids. What would your big dream be? So I'm vulnerable about mine. And then that changed. I started to do a lot of that stuff. Then my dreams changed. But imagine meeting somebody who tells you that. You go, wow, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. Well, you know what? I would love to I'd love to help up homeless women's shelters. I'd love to donate to cancer charities. I'd love to control my time. I'd love to retire my mom. I'd love to take my kids to Hawaii. Whatever it is, you got to start to get in the dream business. That's highest energy. I hope this is helping you. Okay. The other thing you got to do, I wrote this about in my book. You got to start to allow yourself to get credit for invisible progress. Maybe you're getting closer than you think. Maybe you're making more progress than you realize. Maybe your team's no bigger. Maybe your cash flow's no bigger. Maybe it's even gone down. But what if you were making progress? What if it's invisible? What if most progress is invisible? And that's why most people quit. It is. Most progress is completely invisible. We can't see it when it's happening. And because we can't see it, we quit. Because people don't see their progress, they quit. Do you know of those 6 people I told you that I've made all the hundreds of millions of dollars from? 2 of them I recruited myself. The other 4 who built big teams, all their uplines quit because those people hadn't blossomed yet. But they were making progress invisibly. And those people quit. And then bam, multimillionaires. I got a sad one for you. The dude who recruited me quit. Cost him about $500 million. He quit because I was making progress, but it was invisible. I had grown a team and they all quit. I grew another one, they all quit. And he didn't think I was making progress, but I was. In fact, I didn't know I was making progress, but I was. I went to, there's a thing called compound pounding. When your efforts continue to do it and you get a team, and even if they don't stick around, the compound pounding is breaking down the barriers between you and your dream, to you and the riches. This is a fact. I write about it in the book. About 3 years ago, I got invited to a 5-year-old's birthday party. I did not want to go to it. It's a 5-year-old's birthday party. And I went, and my wife is Mexican, and it was a kind of a Mexican traditional birthday party. So the 5-year-old had a piñata. Y'all been to a piñata party? And it just blew my mind how valid this analogy was. So all the kids line up. They're all excited to get the piñata, and the birthday boy, it's just like our business. By the way, they take this little guy, they put a little blindfold on him and spin him around. And he's completely out of sorts, just like every new recruit you get is. Isn't that true? You get a new recruit, they're like, what is happening? And they're blindfolded, and we spin them, and they got no direction. They're going swinging everywhere, aren't they? Just like this little boy was. I'm like, this is the business. And then finally, the dad grabs him and points him in a direction. Says, right here. That's your system. That's you. You finally grab this new recruiter. You go, hey, right here. Swing it this way. Right? And so the kid's swinging. He's hitting this piñata. I mean, just hitting as hard as he can over and over and over again. But no candy's coming out. And he thinks he's making no progress. Nothing's happened. Made a bunch of swings. So he quit. And he hands the next kid gets up. And they blindfold him. He's the next recruit. Spin him around. He's all over the place flailing. You go, no, go this way. He goes, oh, okay. He hits the piñata a bunch of times. Doesn't see any progress. No candy comes out. He bails. Next little girl gets up. Same situation. Next guy gets up. Next little girl. All of them quit because no candy came out. Finally, the last boy who nobody picked, the tiniest little boy there, I think he was about 3. He grabs it. They blindfold him, spin him around, point him, and he makes one swing, hits it, and poof, all the candy came out. Everybody runs back and jumps and gets all the candy. Let me ask you a question. Was it that one swing at the very end that broke the piñata open? Or was it the cumulative shots invisibly breaking that piñata down that broke it down? We both know the answer. It was the compound pounding on that piñata that was making invisible progress. It didn't look like it on the outside, but on the inside, they were breaking down. And here's what happens. Most people in life will quit before their candy comes out. Most people will quit before the candy comes out of the piñata. The candy's the travel, the money, the dreams, the contribution, the self-respect. They quit because progress is invisible most of the time. You remember the piñata next time you think about quitting. You tell people the story of the piñata. You tell them to get my book to read about the piñata. Because compound pounding happens. My upline quit because there was no candy coming out of me yet after years. But guess what? Hundreds of millions of dollars of candy was in this piñata I was hitting. You just couldn't see it yet. And it's true for you in your business as well. That's the mindset of a leader. When you're expanding your vision, you work on it, you visualize it, you think about it all the time. And then in business, you're looking very often for what I call a one more multiplier. I wrote this chapter for you and you didn't even know it. One more multiplier is chapter 14. You read something. See, you're going to get a lot of recruits in your life. But what you're looking for is a multiplier or a rabbit. John Maxwell calls it the law of the catalyst. See, every once in a while, you add somebody to the team that completely changes the team forever. They multiply everybody else's performance. They start setting the pace. They're running out. Everyone starts chasing that multiplier. That multiplier comes in. Because you got one multiplier, all of a sudden, other people like them gravitate to the team. I went 5 years in my business life recruiting people with no multipliers. Just average, everyday recruits that never multiplied anything. Then I got one. Then I got the one. And that one came in, they multiplied, they changed my whole team. Not only they build a big team, they changed the rest of my team because everyone goes, oh my gosh, it's possible. Oh my gosh, they're doing it. Oh my gosh, they're breaking the records. They're changing everybody else in my team. And they multiplied the efforts of everybody else. So, I say here, good team chemistry requires trust, respect, and loyal to each other and your team while also pursuing your individual goals. Greatness attracts greatness. Let's keep things simple. When a one more multiplier is in play on your team, 1 + 1 = 3. In your business and your personal relationships, when you attract the right person who complements and elevates your natural state, the sum of the partnership is greater than the sum of the individual parts. Bam! That's our business model. High achievers and fully functioning human beings understand this, and that's why they seek out like-minded people. Greatness can exist on its own. It often does, but smart people know the absolute best results don't happen when greatness exists in a one-person vacuum. An optimal state happens when you challenge greatness. Now watch what I say here. How many times have you heard this phrase? He makes the players around him better. Those who are one more multipliers seek out worthy challenges and people who will propel them to the next level. Michael Jordan was a stud on his own, but when he joined forces with Scottie Pippen, they formed one of the core basketball juggernauts of all time. You know about Steve Jobs' accomplishments at Apple. You could argue that he was destined for greatness anyway, but you can't diminish the counterbalance of partnering with Steve Wozniak. He's a good buddy of mine. Together, they revolutionized personal computing and built one of the most successful companies ever. His name is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. He lives right there. You know him better as Tom Brady. Thousands of pages have already been written about him, and there's not much I can add to his legendary successes. What I can do is show you how even Tom Brady can go from a centerpiece on one team to a one more multiplier on another team. In 2020, Tom Brady became the one more multiplier for the Tampa Bay Bucks. With Brady at the helm, the team went from a losing season the year before to winning the Super Bowl in 2021. You may have a hard time thinking of Tom Brady as a one more piece, but to anything, but he was. He was the essence of the New England Patriots for 20 years, racking up 16 division titles and 6 Super Bowls. That's great. Still, in football, as in life, everything has an expiration date. He left there. Brady brought a warrior mentality and elevated other teammates. To some of the best played football in the history of football, there will be somebody changed with Brady added to the mix. Brady became the ultimate one more multiplier. And I go on to talk about the other people. Listen to this. Shortly after signing Brady, the Bucks added Leonard Fournette to running back. They added Rob Gronkowski. They added Antonio Brown as a free agent. In the process, the team turned things around to 11-5. Here's what he says. To me, football is as much about mental toughness as it is anything. It's digging deep, doing whatever you need to do to help the team win, and that comes in a lot of shapes and forms, said Brady earlier in his career. And that's exactly what he did in the 2020 season. What I'm saying here is that when Brady joined that team, other people wanted to come play with him. And that's what happens in business with you as well. You add a multiplier, other people are gravitated to your team. So how do I know this? Well, let me show you. If I can pull a picture up, we can pull those pictures up, guys. I think I'll just say click. Let me just show you a picture of my son. This is me and my son, Max. Let me tell you about Max. I'm going to tell you a story here. I'm going to remove the intense language about it. I've only got about 20 minutes left. I love my son, but he is not coordinated. He is not a coordinated dude. In fact, he's 20 years old, and if you put a gun to my head right now and said, is Max left or right-handed, I have no idea. Because in kids, when we were in sports when he was a kid, he'd drop a fly ball and get hit in the face with the left glove and the right glove. He'd strike out left-handed and right-handed. He played a whole basketball season and got 2 points. And the only reason he had the 2 points is the rebound hit off his head and went into the basket. In flag football, he blocked. In golf, he played left and right. Finally, he quit playing sports. Bless his heart. And this was hard because I was a college athlete. I'm like, Lord, what happened to my DNA? And so we moved out here to the desert, actually where I am right now. And there's golf out here. And what's interesting about the golf out here is it's mainly professional golfers live out here. So this tour my son would play on was professional golfers and their sons that were the same age as my son, who isn't left or right-handed. My son has the biggest heart. He's the sweetest boy. He's much like his mama. He's kind, very generous. And so I decided to tell him, Max, let's just have fun playing golf. And you get to caddy for your son on this tour. So we would show up to these tournaments. I want you to imagine this. I'm dressed like a ragamuffin, muscles, tattoos. He doesn't match me. His hat's on crooked. His hat doesn't fit. He's got some left-handed clubs, some right-handed clubs. And we're lining up against a professional player and his son, matching outfits, perfect golf clubs, white pants, orange, perfect. And we went out, and the first tournament, Max lost by 35 shots. 35 shots. And he had a good time. When he would top one in the lake, he's, oh, whoops. And the other boy would hit a drive. Great drive, Jacob. Wow, yay. And the other kids are looking at him like, hey, man, this is competitive out here. This kid's a weirdo. And it got to the point where he would play so badly that I never even told him about his score. And I just said, did you have fun today, Max? I thought, this is 5 hours. I'm a busy guy. I get to be with my son. I had fun, Daddy. It's so fun to be with you. I love when we talk and we're out there. And I'm like, that's great, Max. I had fun, too. Got to the point where he would get home. His mom would never even ask him how he played. She'd say, did you have fun? Did you have fun? Yeah, Mama, me and Daddy had fun. We just stopped asking him because he finished last in every tournament for 3 years. And I mean DFL, really last. It started to weigh on me a little bit that he was comfortable with losing, but we were having fun, and he's this precious boy. But if you click to the next slide, let me show you something. My son really has a good golf swing. It was all up here. So this day that this picture was taken, you can pull it down now, guys, and put me back up. I don't know how the screen works, but The day that picture was taken, we were playing in a tournament, and it was his 4th year playing golf, and now we're playing right-handed. We just picked right-handed. My son had a beautiful swing. So we played 9 holes with 2 other professional players and their sons, and at the 9th hole, the kids get to go grab lunch. But this day, we were way behind because Max was playing so slowly and bad. So we were way behind, and the lunches were like 100 yards away. And you're supposed to grab your lunch. And then a life-changing moment happened I want to share with you, because you are one moment away from changing your life. It's changed my life and my son's. I'm going to cut out the bad language. But when we got past the 9th hole, one of the dads turned and said to the other 2 boys, you guys go over to that tee box and hit your next shot. Max, you go grab your lunch. You're out of it, and you don't care anyway. So grab their lunch, man. I went, what did you just say to my son? Don't you ever talk to my son like that. And maybe some F-bombs came out of me. Don't you ever talk to my son like, Daddy. I see him and say, Daddy. I go, no, don't you ever speak to my son like that. I said, tell you what you guys do. You go over there to that tee box. I'm going to take a minute with Max, and then I'll go grab the lunch. You guys go over there. And I got with my son. I got him. I said, Max, I got down to this knee, and I said, Max, come here. This is the loving dad, right? I go, come here. We're going to win. What, Daddy? What about, we're supposed to, I go, no, screw all that. We're going to win today. You hear me? Daddy, we're down by 11 shots. I don't care. We're winning. But I want to have fun. I said, Max, winning is more fun than fun is fun. The first line in my book on the first page. I said, Max, winning is more fun than fun is fun. We're going to win today. I said, you got another shirt in your bag? Put the blue shirt on. He switched shirts. I said, Max, I'm touching. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. I said, this is the winning shirt, man. I said, you got a beautiful swing. It's time we compete. It's time we do it. Okay, guys. Like, we got this. Now, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to give you very specific instructions. I'm going to tell you what club to hit. No practice swings. You go execute. We're going to win. We're down by 11 shots, guys. Right? He's finished last in every golf tournament. It was okay. And I said, now take your 3-wood and go over there. I'll go grab the food. And I watched my little boy walk over there with his shoulders hunched over, which is how he walked. My heart's breaking. This man just demeaned my son. I was intense. Maybe I got too intense. And I watch him from a distance. And he takes my precious son, hits his little 3-wood out there. It was a good shot. And I got up to the tee box with their food. I said, here's your food. I said, how'd that feel, Max? He goes, good, Daddy. I said, Max, I touched him on the shoulder. We're going to win. We're going to win. I have no idea how we're going to win, by the way. I have no idea. So we get up to the fairway. We've never walked. Normally we're messing around walking to the fairway. Now we're walking down the fairway to get to the ball. I said, Max, when we get up there, man, we're going to hit a great shot right on the green. You got this, man. You got a beautiful swing. You're a great player. You're a great player. You're a great player. You're a great player. He's still walking, kind of hunched over. We get up there. I said, no practice swings. I said, Max, you got 135 yards to the green. Hit this thing 10 feet left of the pin. Let's go. Execute. He's never heard me talk like this. We've been playing for 3 years out there having fun. My little boy gets up there, hits his shot. Pretty good shot, about 20 feet left of the pin. I said, how'd that feel? He goes, that felt good, Daddy. Kind of hands me the club back. Now we're walking down the fairway, and his shoulders are back a little bit more. We get up to the green. He's got a putt. I said, Max, let's go. I said, Max, line the putt up like everybody does. He's like, oh, okay, Dad. And he walks on one side of the putt, looks at the other side. No idea what he's looking at. Neither one of us do. But it's what the other kids do. So he looks at both sides of the putt. He goes, Daddy, I think it's about maybe 2 feet left to right downhill. I truthfully have no idea. Neither does he. I'm like, that's exactly what it does, Max. Knock that thing in the jar. And he putts it. Doink! Birdie. Doink! Birdie. Woo! High five. He kind of twirls the club and hands it back to me. Those other 2 guys made bogey. I said, we're down 9, Max. Let's roll. We got 8 to go. Now we're walking to the next tee box. His chest is out, man. He's a totally different dude. Next hole's the 11th hole. It's a par 5. I go, hey, man, smack this driver down the middle. Let's do it. Grab him. You're going to win, man. You're going to win. Got that blue shirt. We're going to win. Bombs his drive down the middle. It's a par 5. There's a lake in front of the green. It's about 220 yards. We got no chance if Max doesn't go for it over the green. The other 2 boys lay up. They hit little 8 irons. I said, Max, hit that thing. Because, Daddy, it's too far. I said, hit it. Hit it. Okay, Daddy. And here I go to him, Jesus, Lord, please, any sin, anything I've ever done, please forgive me. Just let him hit this ball in the green. Please, Jesus, please, please, please. My son takes the club back, swings, whoosh, it's in the air. And I'm praying. And there's a wall right in front of the green, and he hits the wall. And I drop my head, and the ball goes straight up in the air, not backwards. Lands on the green, and rolls to about 3 inches from the hole. Yes, Max! Daddy, can you believe it? I'm like, does this feel good or what? Holy shit! Ah! Now we're walking down the green. They're looking at us like we're crazy. They've hit shots like this lots of times. But my son's never done that. We get up and taps his little putt in, makes an eagle. We're down 7. There's 6 holes to go, Max. I get emotional. I don't ever tell this story. You fast forward to the 18th hole. My precious boy is now down 1 shot, and he's in 2nd place. The kid in 1st place is the son of the dad who made that comment. They both hit their drives down the middle. There's a lake in front of the green. Max is a little further than the other boy. And I hear the dad lean into his son and say, Jacob, don't hit it in the lake. I lean over to Max. I go, Max, he's going to hit it in the freaking lake. You never tell someone what not to do, you dummy. Sure enough, Jacob jumps it in the lake. I go, Max, hit this 8-iron, 10 feet left of the cup. Let's get the hell out of here, man. And he hits it about 8 feet left of the cup. Walking down to the green. Jacob makes his shot. It's unbelievable shot. So now here's the deal. Max makes this putt, he wins. He 2 putts, he ties, goes to a playoff. He 3 putts, he loses. My dumb ass, when he's got the putt, he's doing his little lining up the putt thing where he has no idea where it is, but he believes he does. But he really doesn't know, but he believes he knows. And I say, my dumb ass, I go, hey, Max, this thing's downhill. Don't leave it too far past the hole because, we want at least 2 putt to get to the playoff. My boy, 9 holes ago, was fine losing by 30 strokes. Says to me, Daddy, I'm making this. We're going to win. I'll never forget him saying that to me. He took the putter back and he swung. We won. We freaking won. Yes! We're screaming at the top of our lungs, man. We won! We won! And it changed his life. It changed my life. We decided to win and not just play. We decided to compete. We decided it mattered. Let me show you a picture. Watch this. There he is. There's the blue shirt. There's the medal he won. Look at his face. Winning changes everything. Now, I have to say, if you bring the camera back on me real quick, I do have to say, even in that picture, if you look at his physiology, you can tell he's not quitting. There's no pictures of LeBron James with a championship trophy going. But we won. And let me tell you what happened. If we can go to the next picture. My son won 23 straight tournaments. 23. This is a couple years later. He shot 64.
What?
Same swing. Completely different mindset. Momentum changes things. Click to the next slide. This is me and Max playing golf about 2 years ago. Yeah, he's grown a little bit. By the way, since that picture, he's lost 80 pounds and is ripped and shredded. Why? Here's why. Go to the next slide. This is him signing his college golf scholarship to play golf in college. Look at that. Look how thin he is. He's playing college golf. He went from losing every single tournament for 3 years to being a #1 college golfer. Last 2 weeks ago, he played in his first professional tournament and made the cut. My precious boy. I think that's on slides. Is there anything else on there, guys? I think that's it. You can go back to me if you want. Completely changed his life. I can hear you going like this. What's the lesson there? The lesson is that winning is more fun than fun is fun. The lesson is that it's mindset. The lesson is that if you can get some momentum and get it going, you can completely change your life. The lesson is we were one moment and one decision away from changing that boy's life. That one moment, that one comment, that one reaction, that one decision, that one golf tournament changed my son's life. Completely. And you can do the same thing. Life is beautiful, guys. Competing is beautiful. Winning is beautiful. Winning is more fun than fun is fun. And when you get a big vision and then you start to get momentum and you start winning, you change. You become infectious. You can survive the temporary pain in between. You'll get introduced to your other self. And the coolest thing in life is not the money or the jet or any of that. It really isn't. It's actually meeting the other you. It's actually eventually looking in the mirror and saying, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of me. I'm the one in my family. I'm the one. I changed everything in my family. And chapter 2 of the book is about Neo in the Matrix. The reason I love that chapter is in the Matrix, he's the one. In every family, the one shows up. In every family, eventually that family is changed by one person. They change it forever. The Milet family will never be the same because of me. Because of me. We don't think the same. We don't operate the same. Our mindset's different. The world treats us different. Their thumb's not on this family anymore, man. We call the shots, not the world anymore. We're in charge, not everybody else. The same thing can happen for your family. Your beautiful, precious family. But here's the deal in my final moments here. Your will to win cannot be for sale. Most people can be bought. Most people's will is for sale. They will eventually sell out their dreams and sell out their family with enough failure, with enough rejection. It'll sound like, well, my upline wasn't this, or the company wasn't for me, or the comp plan changed, or this or that. No. You sold your family's dreams. You backed away. You gave in. Your will to win could be bought. Let me tell you about this guy right here. I'm not the most talented dude in the world. I'm not the smartest dude in the world, but I love my family. And I know you love your family. You can't buy my dream. No failure. Nobody will take my dream. Nobody will buy my will to win in my life. I'm going to win. This dude's a winner. And what happened to my son that day is he found out he's a winner. And no one takes your will from you, not voluntarily. Your will to win cannot be for sale. You need to decide right now. You need to plant your flag. You need to make a decision. I cannot be bought. No amount of failure. Everybody, most of winning is an attrition contest. Most of winning. Tom Brady didn't make his high school freshman team that went 0-8. He was the backup quarterback on an 0-8 team. When he went to Michigan, he was the number 7 quarterback on his college team. He was a 6th-round draft pick. He's now the greatest of all time because he kept working. He kept hitting the piñata. He kept working on his vision, kept working on his mindset, kept working on his identity. Didn't allow the opinions of others to impact him. And that's what you've got to do as well. I'm telling you guys, the opportunity of a lifetime is in front of you. What you got to do in the following is this. You got to get together. You got to get recruiting. You got to start talking to more people. You got to increase your certainty level. You got to sell a big dream. Most certain person wins, right? You've got to make sure you separate your presentation from your invitation. All of the stuff we've covered today, all is part of the pieces of doing something great in your life. And furthermore, if you really want to grow, follow me. Listen to my podcast every week. Follow my YouTube. Follow my Instagram. Read my books. I'm telling you, I'm doing this on a Saturday because I love Eric, but I'm also doing it because I love you. I feel that I'm called to help people. I hope you feel my emotion about it. You're so precious. You are also someone's daughter or someone's son. I don't want you to make them proud of you, even if they don't believe in you right now. And if they've passed away, honor them with who you become. But the most important thing is that you become proud of you. That when you, see, we can fool everybody in life. I'm happy, but when we're in the car alone, we look in that mirror and we catch a look at ourselves. We're brushing our teeth in the morning. Do we even look at ourselves anymore? I want when you catch that glance to go, I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her. Man, I did it. Man, I went for it. Man, I gave it everything I had. I mean, everything I had, I gave to it. I can deal with the results if I give it everything. I can deal with failure if I've given it everything I've got. I can't deal with regret. I can't deal with wondering. I can't deal with someday going, my gosh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. I should have hit that piñata again. I should have believed more. I should have read more. I should have gone for it. I can't do that. I can deal with failure. I could have dealt with it if my son lost that day. But I couldn't deal any more with not giving our best. I couldn't deal any more with it. God, neither could he. Not give it our best and to try to win. And man, is winning fun. Winning is way more fun than fun is fun. And I'm here to help you win. I'm here to help you have a whole bunch of fun. Remember this last thing. Do all the things you don't want to do as fast as you can, so you can do all the things you want to do for as long as you can. All right, guys. I think that's good for today. I love you and God bless you. I'm going to throw it back over to you guys.
Ed, thank you so much for taking the time with us on your Saturday.
My honor.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everyone, his book, The Power of One More. You can get that, like I said, anywhere you can buy books. So make sure you get your copy if you haven't gotten it so far. Ed, thank you. We appreciate you so much. All right, accelerators. Thanks so much. Accelerators, how you feeling? How was that? From beginning to end, just pure fire, right? Awesome. Well, thank you for taking this Saturday with us. As we mentioned before, we'll have the transcript available. We'll have the replay available. Give us a couple of days just to go ahead and get that into the Kajabi Learning Center for you. A couple quick announcements. Monday, Eric will be with us, hopefully with a better internet connection. And we have our July Q&A session with him. So make sure you get your questions all ready to have him answer those. And then our next workshop is going to be on August 6th, Saturday. And the topic is how to master social media groups. And we will have as our guest speaker, Marie Forleo. So make sure you get that on your calendar. Just wanted to make sure you have updates on everything. And we're going to wrap for the day. So go out there. Remember, you've got to find people and talk to people, and make sure that your vision is amazing. We will have this again so you can rewatch it as many times as you need to. And I will see you not next Monday, but the following Monday when we have our next $1 Million Mastermind. But we're going to call it from now on the Magnificent Monday $1 Million Mentoring. So from all of us here over at the Worry Studios home studio, have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you later.